Good morning and welcome. We made it. We started this journey about a year ago, and to the efforts of a very, very committed and competent cross-cutting team, we've made it here today. Obviously, public safety is our top priority for the city. We refer to it as safer streets. This will allow us to make the streets safer. It will also allow us to reinvigorate our commitment to transparency. As I stated a year ago, the mayor and the council charged the administration with creating a model best-in-class body camera program for our Cincinnati Police Department. I believe we have hit the mark. It's a culmination of a lot of hard work of a lot of people, as I've stated. We have a body camera policy and procedure which is online. I believe that it will become recognized as truly a best-in-class policy and procedure. Obviously, it's going to be a dynamic document that we will continue to work to perfect. Throughout this entire process, it's been very collaborative. It's been very open. We've reached out to every sector of our community in terms of clergy, community organizations, law enforcement organizations, and so forth. Again, this is day one of a launch that will see 700 cameras on the streets of Cincinnati between now and December 31st. I just want to give a special thanks before I turn this over to our mayor. Again, nothing of this magnitude is accomplished without a lot of helping hands. And we've had a lot of helping hands in terms of getting us to this point, starting with our mayor and city council for their commitment and support and direction, our police chief, Eliot Isaac, who you will hear from very shortly, Captain Doug Wiseman, and Sergeant Ryan Smith, who basically co-honchoed getting this whole thing through, Chris Bigum, our budget director, Elizabeth Wetzel, in the city manager's office, Patrick Dehaney, our more than competent chief procurement officer, Kristen Eatman, Christine Zimmer, and the late Ella Toppin, who unfortunately recently passed. She also played a role in getting us to this point today. And a special thanks to the entire body-worn camera committee, as well as the subcommittees. So at this point, I will ask that our great Mayor John Cranley come up and offer some comments.
Thank you. I am so proud of our Cincinnati Police Department. I mean, this is incredible. We have led the effort in embracing transparency. The Cincinnati Police Department, as pointed out by Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General of the United States, is the role model for police community relations around the country. And it is, let's be honest, nobody likes people looking over their shoulder all the time. That's a natural tendency. But our officers have embraced, and our leadership under Chief Isaac and our leadership of the city manager embraced the basic concept that you have a right to know what your government is doing. And that's the basic concept around cameras, which is transparency. This is your government at work, and we're not afraid because we are proud of our officers, and we know that they will act professionally. We want the truth to come out. The fact is that there was trepidation when the cameras were put in the cruisers about 15 years ago or so. People were nervous what that meant. What has it meant? Overwhelmingly has shown that we have a professional, courteous, conscientious police force and has exonerated officers 9 times out of 10 when accused of misconduct. Just this last weekend, it was video camera that showed just how dangerous Tony Bricata's situation was and how he acted quickly to save his life. We don't fear these cameras. We welcome them because we have a great professional police department. But it still takes a certain kind of person to willingly allow someone to be watching you all the time. The fact that they're willing to do that says to me that this police department is really focused on public service. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I can't reiterate enough. I say this quite a bit, and I mean it. My time here in Cincinnati has been the most productive of my entire career, and that is due primarily to our mayor and city council. They tell us to go and make things happen, and they let us do it. At this time, we will have our chief, Eliot Isaac, to come up to talk about some details. He will be followed by Captain Wiseman, who will talk about some next steps, and then we will go through a roll call exercise, which will formally and physically launch the body camera program.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Black, Mayor Cranley. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to our central business section, where we're going to begin our rollout of the body cam program. I'd like to also recognize Captain Mike Neville, who's the commander here of the central business section. I know I just saw him a second ago. Over there, okay. Also, my assistant chiefs, Colonel Mike John, Colonel Teresa Thigi, Colonel Dave Bailey, and Colonel Paul Newdigate. I'd like to also thank the city administration and city council for their support in this effort. I'd like to especially thank Mr. Black for making this a priority for the department, and most importantly, securing the funding to make this happen for us. As you see this launch here today, this just further emphasizes our commitment to transparency and capturing that best evidence. It's always our intention to move toward accountability and fair and equitable policing in every effort that we undertake. It would have been easy for us to just take a camera out of the box and throw it on our officers, but we wanted to make sure that we were taking the time to do this correctly. To have a comprehensive, well-thought-out program takes effort. And when you consider developing the policies, the procedures, the retrieval processes, the storage maintenances, the public records connectivity, and many, many more, we can't thank enough the team that was assembled to do this. I think we're going to have a program that will be an example nationwide. What you're going to see next is, and I'm going to ask Captain Doug Wiseman to come up, is going to be a roll call demonstration on how these body cams will be used on a daily basis for our office. So I'm going to turn it over to Captain Wiseman at this point to take us through that.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, City Manager and Mayor. Thank you. So good morning, everyone. It's a very exciting day for me and the rest of the team and the city administration and partners. It's been a year-long effort to get this to today, this morning. So it's my job to basically show you how to demonstrate what we're going to do. If you can look over my left shoulder back in the corner of the room back there, those are the docking stations. They're in the back corner of the room there with what central business section. We have 44 Taser Axon cameras actually charging back there. Some of them are being deployed on first shift this morning, and you'll get a chance to watch this actually happen. So we'll be turning on the cameras for the first time this morning. We're going to move the podium out of the way, and we're going to do a roll call, and you'll be able to see them actually turn their cameras on for the first time. So we're prepared to do that. If we want to go ahead and move this out of the way, Steve, I know you were going to come up and do that, and then we'll show you how this all works. And then if I could maybe have you guys move over here, and I don't know if you guys, they're going to be falling in over here. Hang on, Mark. Get this done. So this is where it's going to happen. You just want to do it from there?
Yeah, and then when you guys were done with that.
You guys will have to kind of step out of there. So this is one of our typical roll calls, and now we're introducing the Taser Axon camera to the inspection process. I'm going to turn it over to Sergeant Mark Hunley from Central Business Section to do this.
All right, pull in. The act close and dress right dress. Ready front. Strong prepare for inspection. Remove magazines. Raise pistol. Magazines, remove tasers. right spark test. Place tasers and cartridges. Go ahead and activate your body cameras, please.
What Sergeant Hunley is watching for now, there's a green blinking light on the top of the taser cam that indicates that it's operating properly. So he's just checking to make sure that it's operating properly. And essentially what's happening now is all of these officers are buffering 30 seconds of video right now. They're not recording anything, it's just buffering.
All right, fall out.
So the way this will work is the officers will fall in like this for the beginning of their tour. They'll go through the inspection process like you just witnessed. They'll activate their taser cam. They'll go out in the field, and per our procedure, they'll start to record video when they are dispatched on radio runs or are involved in self-initiated activity. At the end of their shift, let's say one of the officers records 10 videos. They will essentially come back to the station to finish their shift and check in with their supervisor. They'll dock their camera in the station back here. It has a dual purpose. It recharges the battery, and it uploads the video to the cloud where we're storing our video. And then they're done. That's it. And
Okay.
Mr.
Can you
Manager, that's it.
get back
Mayor
by the
and Chief.
microphone or no?
No, we'll just.
Well, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Can you bring it back out?
Tony.
We have no audio if you.
Okay, at this time, we'll respond to any questions that you might have. I've got the mayor here, we've got the police chief, and we've got the subject matter experts, Captain Wiseman.
I would like to know, there were a lot of studies done that show, for example, reduction in the number of complaints about police misconduct. What is the city of Cincinnati going to gain by this, other than transparency? There are studies to show there's kind of a change in behavior. Captain Wiseman, is that something you can address?
I mean, yes, certainly we saw this happen. We saw this happen in 1998 when they deployed the DVR cameras. Like the mayor indicated this. It will show our professionalism. You will see uses of forces go down. You will see complaints go down. And this, I don't have the numbers. I don't have the reports in front of me, but there have been some indications that where they're deploying these cameras in some cities, that those types of activities are being reduced.
I guess when you know that there's a camera on you, I guess it's just basic human nature. It enhances your overall self-awareness in terms of where you are, what you're doing, and how you might or may not be conducting yourself.
And part of your program is that they tell people when they're being recorded, right?
That's actually not true. The state of Ohio is a single party state, so we do not have to notify every single person that we are recording video. They'll just be recording, and that'll be the end of it. There are some states that require notification, and I believe the United Kingdom, too, is one of those type of governmental agencies or states that requires notification that you're being recorded, but the state of Ohio is not.
So people notice that. I've seen that. They go, am I being recorded?
Maybe, maybe not.
How are they activated? Is it manually, or is there some automatic trigger with the lights and sirens?
We can step up and show somebody.
Thank you.
Well, actually, you haven't had the training yet. Andy, why don't you come up here real quick? He just knows how to turn it on. He's got to get the training at 1 o'clock. So he's buffering video right now. So it's just doing a 30-second loop. So you guys are all being recorded too. And so if Officer Brown were responding to a run, he would basically double tap the event button. On the top of the taser, I can see a red flashing light indicating that it's actually recording and capturing audio right now. So now he's recording. And then when he's done with the run, he holds the event button for 5 seconds. And now it's back to buffering.
Is it up to him as to when to record?
Yes, per procedure, there are specific incidents where he's mandated to turn the recording on. Dispatch radio runs, it's in the procedure. on every radio run, when he's going to the run, he has to activate the event button.
What's your guess as to the learning curve on this? I know they'll all get instructions,
Yeah,
but, you gotta get used to.
We'll have some misses.
There-
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, it's a new piece of technology that they'll have to get used to.
It seems like there will be times when you, that's not the first thing you think to do.
Sure.
and-
Well, we can talk about that. So a couple of months ago, we had an officer up at the Fifth Third Bank in Madisonville. I think many of you saw that video of a aggravated robbery suspect running into the bank, leaping the counter. Officer Kevin Hankerson reacted very quickly to that threat. He would not, had he had a body camera, had time, and we are not asking him to turn that video on at that time. He's got to protect himself in that situation. And so you wouldn't be able to capture that initially during that time period. What's interesting about that and what we are training the officers is if you are in an ambush situation and cannot record the event, there is 30 seconds of buffered video. So we're telling the officers, for your own peace of mind, when it's done and it's settled down, if you hit the button, it captures 30 seconds of video backwards. Not saying that they'll even be able to do that, but we're kind of telling them that that is an option that they have.
Tony Mercado on Sunday would not have had the opportunity. to
But
see
he
the
may, shortly after that sort of settled down, been able to turn it on and capture 30 seconds of video backwards.
So,
Interesting.
kind of going off that, are there also areas like the bank scenario? That's obviously an area where there are going to be a lot of security cameras. Are there spaces in the city like banks where police are trained for maybe a little bit of insulation from not having to need that reflex? Do you know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, we want them to have the reflex all of the time.
Right.
And then we would use the secondary private or our cameras as different angles to that same incident. So no, we're not telling them, hey, you're in an area where there's a lot of cameras, so don't worry about it. We want them to record whenever they can. And then we would use that as secondary video from different angles.
Should you have a situation like Sunday, only there would be time to turn the body camera on, let's say, what is the evaluation process of that video? Who would look at it first? What would happen to it? And, who would decide what could be shown to the public? We saw just recently with Prosecutor Dieter's.
Right, I can talk to you about the mechanics of that. I'll let the chief and the city manager handle the other part of that question. We do have the capability at CIS where I'm the commander of, so in that situation, that is starts off as a criminal investigation. The homicide unit goes out to conduct that investigation. The body cam at that point becomes evidence of that situation along with all of the other stuff that's on the officer's person. We have the capability at CIS with our licenses in evidence.com, the system that's holding these videos for us to lock that down in what we call a vault so that not the whole police department, everybody can look at it. And then at that point, we have the video. It's locked in a vault for only the investigators to look at, and then I'll have to turn it over to the chief and the city manager about the situation that occurred with Mr. Dieter's office and stuff like that.
Yes, as Captain Wiseman mentioned, it would be captured the same way we capture any other evidence. Dash cam, any other video evidence we capture from surrounding cameras or city cameras, treated in the same fashion. And as you saw, the prosecutor does have the option to prevent us from releasing that pending his review. So it would be subject to everything that we currently are under that same purview right now.
Chief, it isn't just the police officers that go through a training period. The public really has to, too. I mean, there's some things, body cams don't always show what really happened. It doesn't show what the police officer saw, or isn't that true that there's some, the public's going to have to be educated as this goes on?
Absolutely. It's a tool. It's one tool. The same fashion in which we began with the dash cams, we began with tasers. Now we are with body cameras. There's definitely an adjustment period and a learning curve that we're all going to have to become accustomed to. And I'm sure there's going to be additional technology in the future that we'll have to handle in the same fashion.
Okay,